I'm Nathan, this is Trevor. We're here with GCP Fireside Chat, and today's topic is rebuilding motivation through evening routine. So what's kind of been happening right now is it's been really easy to kind of get in a lull or a rut here, kind of like with the weather or staying stuck at home with the stay-at-home order. So we might get stuck doing the same thing every night, and you kind of feel like you've lost the motivation. So we want to kind of develop some strategies for you guys so you can get back to your old ways, start developing more of a routine into your nightly life. So Trevor, kind of talk about maybe a first strategy you could think of in kind of building an evening routine and rebuilding some motivation.
Yeah, the be honest, so we're getting a lot of things from clients that they're just having trouble with a lot of motivation. And so the big thing that they're running into is they're just watching way too much TV. Like TV is literally just rotting them right now. Because it's so easy just to shut down and go down, and then people just kind of zone out of the world. But when you zone out of the world, you lose all motivation. So we're starting to what can we first do to kind of starting that fire again, getting that motivation back. And I think one of the best things that's always been for motivation, especially as the weather's starting to change, is just getting out for a nice 10-minute walk. Getting some nice good oxygen going through the body. Literally the nice thing about walking is you can just completely escape. Yes, you can take your phone with you and you can listen to some music, or you can listen to a podcast, and which would be good. You can talk to friends, things that are outside the TV, things that are interactive based or learning based. Getting out there and trying to get that. I wouldn't recommend walking and watching Netflix, right? Which you can probably do now, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. My idea is getting out, and we're not even talking about getting on a treadmill and walking and watching TV. We're trying to shut the TV part off for a while. So we're just gonna go outside and do 10 minutes. If you can go outside, if you have to do it on a treadmill, fine, but no TV during this time. We're just gonna get on a treadmill and do 10 minutes of walking. We're trying to reinvigorate that motivation. Sorry about the phone, guys. Reinvigorate our motivation as we go through this.
All right, so another strategy for helping build that evening routine could possibly be on a night when it is bad weather. Let's talk about what we have to do when we're inside. Say something a little bit different, but we can do with our family.
Let's go, before we go to family, let's go without family first. I think the idea of we're just trying to rebuild motivation. Family is another component, but I think that's a picture that not everybody has the same picture. So let's go with the same picture everybody has, and then we can add in the separate pictures. So another picture is, walking is something every single person can do. There's not a single person that's a client of ours that can't do the walking variation. But then from there, if you're stuck inside and you can't do the walking component, something that we can do is we can start to do multiple. One thing we recommend is reading. Okay, so reading from any genre. It can be business books if you've been trying to work on that. It could be reading fictional, something fun to kind of let your mind escape. The same idea as TV, but the brain has to actually function. It's not just shutting off. The brain has to stimulate that concept. So reading would be probably my first go-to. Another big go-to for me would be goal setting. So during this time, we've kind of I would say most people have lost that intrinsic motivation, and they're relying on extrinsic motivations or external factors. Mm-hmm. So trying to rekindle that intrinsic thing that you have all the time. So it's writing out, what do I want to do? Even pretending this thing has an end date. Let's say this end date's July. And start printing, what am I going to do for the rest of the 6 months of the year? I'm going to have 6 months. What am I going to try to do during this time to make up for the time that was lost or accomplish the things I want to do? So maybe it's a health goal. Maybe it's a travel goal. I would recommend not probably putting out too much for travel goals because we don't know what that's going to look like down the future. But what are the controllables? I can control if I'm going to learn the guitar. I'm going to control some of those things. So start to do some of those. We're trying to get that brain stimulated because we're trying to create motivation. And motivation comes through brain stimulation. So those are two quick internal things that you could work on. And then I think family would be more an external thing, but it's still very valuable and needed. Even if you don't have family at home, but somebody you can jump on a FaceTime with or some type of Google Hangouts call. So simple things like putting together a puzzle. And I know some of you guys are already doing these things, but we're trying to do these things without the TV in the background. So what I'm trying to get rid of is that mindless zombie kind of idea, right? So putting together a puzzle as a family together, talking, interacting, that's truly motivationally. You start to build that rapport with your family instead of we're putting this thing together, TV's on kind of idea, right? We're trying to create that concept.
Sure.
There. So puzzles are great. Doing games, game night, having a family game night once a week. People save that for the weekend, but right now the weekdays are great times for that. And the weekdays, we
just weekend every day.
Yeah, right? Weekend every day, right? And so the idea with that is we want to try making the every single day seem a little bit not like the every single day. So the bad part about TV is every night might be a new episode, but like it's the same routine. So every night of the week, Monday through Friday, even Saturday and Sunday, since it's all the same, it's like, can we mix up that routine? So maybe Monday night we do reading, Tuesday night we do a family game night, Wednesday night we do some goal writing, Thursday night we do a puzzle with the family, Friday night we watch a movie together. So there are TVs involved. We did it as a family, and it's something very specific we're focused on. It's not TV every night kind of idea. Saturday we can mix up our routines because now with the weather's getting nice, we can get outside and start moving, working on yard work and stuff. But that starts to mix up that routine, and like we're looking for like that small baby steps to get motivation start trickling forward. We're not even talking about workouts, and I think workouts are super motivating in the long run once you start to get in the habit of those. But we're trying to get to people that aren't in the habits of workouts. Those of you that aren't in the habit of working out, we need to get you guys going and slowly get that motor moving so that all of a sudden now we can start getting to our Zoom workouts. This thing's not going to wait anytime soon. And even when the gym opens back up, you got to start recreating that motivation before that happens.
That's a great topic. Something that I thought of when we were talking about that is that some people will do those things like every night. Maybe they'll do games, they'll do puzzles, something like that every night, and then they will go do television. Talk about the importance of setting a schedule or a timer when it comes to if you are going to watch television. So like I dedicate Friday nights to television. You're not going to be watching 6 hours. You don't get caught in a binge. Talk about the importance of setting timers so you don't get lost.
Yeah, I think a timer is a great example. The first timer you want to set is bedtime timer. Like this is the last second that I will like shut everything off before I go to bed. So let's say you're a person that needs to go, technically you need to go to bed at 10 to get a good night's sleep. So first of all is setting a timer on your phone saying 9:30. I'm not even if I'm in the middle of an episode, it's stopping at 9:30. So that's timer number one. That's set, ready to go for the evening. Then from there, let's say you decide, okay, tonight is a Netflix night. I'm just sitting down at 8 o'clock. My thing's 9:30. So I would set a timer for like a 30-minute timer personally, because I want to be like, sometimes Netflix is so intuitive and it goes right in that next one. You're just like almost mindless about that, right? You just go into that next episode, so excited. But you see that timer starts going off on your phone and you're like, wait, I've been sitting here 30 minutes already. Timer goes off a second time, you're like, I've been sitting here an hour. But Netflix just keeps running and you don't even dawn on you that you lose an hour and a half of your night. So setting a 30-minute timer, because that's about usually how long episodes are. Maybe if your episodes are a little bit longer, a full episode like Game of Thrones, I think it's like 45 minutes. So if you did Game of Thrones, a 45-minute timer, right? So little timers like that to kind of remind you, okay, this is how long I've actually been sitting here for this amount of time. I know it seems stupid because you're like, I can control myself. You can't control yourself. We're telling you right now, you can't control yourself. That's why you're lacking motivation. You have to be in control. And I think timers are like it's just putting our mind at awareness. Like awareness is really important for motivation. I'm aware that I'm unmotivated versus motivated. And the only way to become motivated again is by building small routines that can help motivation grow. You're not just going to wake up tomorrow and motivation is going to happen. That's absolutely bullshit. That won't happen. You're going to, it's that slow process of building that over time to create motivation. Motivation isn't something that just shows up one day. It's a built process into doing that.
That's great. And something that you're talking about there reminded me a little bit of like a challenge. So when we're writing out our goal setting, something that we want to do even during this time during stay at home is you gotta have something that challenges you a little bit. Maybe it's creating something, like you said, like a puzzle that challenges you mentally, or maybe it's accomplishing a project around the house or something like that. But talk to me about about creating something that's a little bit challenging but not overwhelming, and that it helps create motivation then because you're kind of set and you're focused a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nate kind of tapped in the whole purpose of that is you're trying to do those things. You're trying to create something that like stimulates the brain, right? We're trying to get the brain stimulated. So it could be working at a at-home project. I wouldn't all of a sudden start to rewire your house if you never wired a house before. So that's overstimulating, right? But it's okay. I can hang these pictures that I meant to do forever. So I'm gonna have them all printed off. I'm gonna put them in the thing. I can put those up. I can start that project and have a timeline of how long it's gonna take for me to get that done. Putting a puzzle together in a certain amount of nights is like something simple, but that's probably not overly stimulating. So it's that same idea of overly stimulating. It could be, okay, coming from our landscape, I'm going to go 5 days in a row with eating 5 servings of vegetables. That's challenging for most people, and maybe it's not the most stimulating, but it is stimulating. The fact when you accomplish those 5 servings of vegetables for 5 days, you're all of a sudden like, I did something towards my health. I feel good again. My system feels better. And so it's creating those, like, we call them uncomfortable challenges, right? They're controllable but uncomfortable. Meaning it's something you really need to do. You kind of don't want to do because you like are scared of like can I follow through with it? Like hanging pictures. Like for me, hanging pictures is a little scary because I have no idea if it's gonna, when I get done with the thing, if it's gonna be square or not, regardless of what I'm using. Like it doesn't always turn out that way. So like for me to do that, it's like when I get done, I'm like, I feel really good when I get done hanging a picture of something that needs to look straight. Like, I did it. I know how to do that. Manly task, right? Even though my mom usually does this, so it's really probably not manly task. But like in terms of those things, like trying to figure those that's, but eating 5 servings of vegetables doesn't challenge me. For me, it's like going 5 straight nights of eating 2,400 calories. Like that's challenging for me. Eating 5 serving vegetables is not challenging. So let's figuring out what those like challenges really can be and make you uncomfortable. For some people, it might be getting 10 minutes of walking in a day and like doing it at a different time, not just after work, right? Choosing, I'm going to do this at noon. That's a challenge because you're not used to shutting down for noon, right? You're maybe running into the kitchen, grab stuff, and go back home. So the challenge might be at noon. I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to hit noon. I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk and then come back to the day. Like that could be super challenging for a lot of you guys that are like high business performers. So that's a good starting point. It's like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself at different times I wouldn't normally do it. Maybe getting your workout in. Maybe you're a 5 o'clock at night worker out or normally, and you're not getting that in. Well, why don't you try 7 a.m. and see if maybe you can get that in. Challenge yourself to be a little uncomfortable. Like maybe I can get this in. We've had that happen just recently. A few people get on at 6 o'clock in the morning and they never do 6 o'clock in the morning, like ever. And they're getting on at 6 o'clock in the morning. So like those are ways to challenge yourself to get out of your ruts. We're trying to get out of that rut.
Well, there you go. This is rebuilding motivation through evening routine. Hope you got a lot of stuff to take away from this. What we're basically trying to do is just create that nice mental sweat, trying to challenge ourselves mentally so that we can create that motivation to do the other things in our lives that are important as well. So it's Nathan and Trevor signing off.
Have a good day, guys.